Hello and welcome to the video today where I'm going to be talking about the Namco Bandai Humble Bundle 4 and whether or not it is good value. I'm going to be looking at the games that are currently in this bundle and giving my impressions of what I know about them so far and say whether or not I would buy the bundle or buy the games within this bundle. So first, let's get off to a good start with Pac-Man. We know what Pac-Man is. You either want to play it or you don't. But Pac-Man is one of those games where we all know what Pac-Man is. I don't care. That kind of feels like a useless game in that bundle to me. The next game, which is a bit more interesting, is Enslaved Odyssey to the West. This is a game which was back on the PS3. I remember I played this a little bit when I was at university. It was okay. I think I got about 1/4 to half the way through the game, and I ended up stopping just due to doing my studies. So this is kind of like an okay game. You go through, you've got some platforming, you've got kind of like loose puzzle-based elements, and you've got like hack and slash kind of combat. And it's kind of okay, but definitely under the price of £1. I would say it's definitely worth getting. And then the next game we have is Get Even. Get Even is a game that I've seen quite a few times, but I've never actually ventured into it. It's one of those games where I don't feel like it's horror. It's more like a very creepy game. So normally I hate horror games. So if it's something like Outlast or Amnesia or Layers of Fear, I hate those kind of games. However, I really enjoy games such as BioShock or Fear. And one of the reasons is they have this creepy aesthetic to it, but it's not just a horror game. It's almost like a more thriller experience. And Get Even, from watching the trailer to this game, does seem to have some combat in there. Even here in the description, it says that you were an ice-cold mercenary in Gun for Hire, which makes it a bit more action-orientated, so makes me think a little bit more Resident Evil-esque, where there is that over kind of like scary, creepy theme, but you're not just a victim, you can fight back. So for £1 of these first three games, I would say this is definitely worth it for Enslaved and Get Even, and Pac-Man, who cares? So next, we're moving on to paying more than the average. The average at the moment is £8.64, and we've got three games there unlocked, which is Dot Hack GU Last Recode, Katamari Damacy Reroll, and Rad. So, starting right at the left, we've got Dot Hack GU Last Recode. Now, this game is a remaster of three Dot Hack games that were previously released on the PS2, I think, and also includes a fourth game which has never been released before. So when you're buying Dot Hack GU, you're actually buying an original three games that have been remastered and a new fourth game that has been included to try and continue the series a little bit. Dot Hack is one of those those kind of like names I've heard before, kind of like Gundam, where they say like Gundam Seed or Gundam Orphan Children, and I have no idea the actual order of the series, and it makes it a bit confusing because the series isn't numbered. But upon doing research and seeing that this just contains four games with number 1, 2, 3, and 4, that makes it a much easier buy because I know I can start at the beginning. And from looking at this game, it's one of those isekai kind of games where you're traveling to another world, it's an MMO, and you're essentially surviving in that world. This game, currently not on sale, is usually £40, and usually when it does go on sale, it's kind of like around £75, which would be about a tenner. So if you did just want this game, this is already worth it. Next, moving on to Katamari Damacy Reroll. It is Katamari. You roll around, you pick up stuff, it's fun, you get bigger and bigger. Very simple concept, very simple premise, and it is quite good. So yeah, if you haven't played Katamari before, why not? And then the last one we have is Rad. Now, this game actually isn't that old. I think it's like a year or just under a year old. It's a roguelite game set in a post-apocalyptic world where you essentially go around and you kill enemies and bad guys and you explore the map and you go to the next map, but you pick up items. And because this is called Rad and it's post-apocalyptic, some of those items cause mutations, which then change your character and change your playstyle. So that's how they do that roguelike element. And this is one I saw one of my friends play when I was back in England, and it looked quite good. Normally I do like my single player narrative only games. However, I do have a soft spot for games that are roguelite and have lots of RNG elements. So, at the moment, I would say this bundle is definitely worth it. And £8 may be worth it for just Katamari and Rad together, or £8 would be worth it for Dot Hack. However, having all three together, I think, is some pretty amazing value. So next we go on to the 12 or more options. The first one is Tekken. It's Tekken 7. I don't care about fighting games, so for me, that's like a non-game that I'm just not interested in whatsoever. It's the kind of game when, if I do play fighting games, I usually just kind of go through the story and then leave them. So for me, Tekken 7 is not just worth it. However, we've then got Tales of Berseria. If you know the Tales games, they're JRPGs, quite similar to Final Fantasy. They are a lot more standalone, so you don't need to play the other games in the series to actually get into them. And Tales of Berseria, it's your standard JRPG where you're in a world, you go questing, you pick up party members and companions. There's kind of like a greater and grander quest. And I believe this one's called Berseria because the main character has this kind of like beast mode or something. We can see a werewolf or some kind of thing right there in the trailer. This one, I saw one of my friends playing back when I was in university, and I thought the game looked pretty good. So based on that, I think this one would be interesting to play. Also, you do need to pay £12 to get this game. So normally, if let's say you weren't interested in any of these games and you only want Tales of Berseria, Tales of Berseria normally goes on sale for £10 on Steam or on the Humble Bundle store. So if you only want Tales of Berseria, buy that individually. But if you want Tales of Berseria and any other game on this list, I would say it is definitely worth that price tag. And getting on to the last and final one, we've got this one, Dark Pictures Man of Medan. This one, it's one of those Telltale-esque games where you're going through a story, you make some decisions, it slightly changes the narrative. This Man of Medan is very much like, I'm saying it's very much like, but it is by the makers of Until Dawn. I've got a couple of my friends who work there. And yeah, so this is essentially after Until Dawn. And if you liked Until Dawn, you'll know if you like this. Personally, though, it seems like quite a short game from what I've seen. And I think for £20, so like £20.50, seems a little bit dear. I'd probably wait till this game is a bit cheaper. But it is cheaper than it originally was. So for this bundle, this is the one I'm going to buy because I feel like this bundle is great. Who is this bundle best for? I would say this bundle is best for anybody who is a kind of like a bit of a weeb, a JRPG fan. You like things that are a little bit stereotypical, maybe exaggerated a bit, which all these titles are. Tekken 7, exaggerated fighter. Tales of Berseria, exaggerated RPG. Dot Hack, Isekai game. Rad, exaggerated post-apocalyptic world. Katamari, you roll the universe. Get Even and Enslaved. Get Even seems a little bit more intense. Survival, horror, thriller game. And then Enslaved is just typical generic hack and slash in my opinion. So I'm going to buy this by paying £12, but I will not be getting Man of Medan just because, I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't pay as much money. I kind of saw what Until Dawn had to offer. And it's almost like a game which I could just watch on YouTube and feel like I've got the full experience, which is unfortunate for these kinds of games. So anyway, that is my opinion on this current Humble Bundle. It has currently got 11 days and 8 hours left. Well, 8.5 hours from this. By the time I upload, it's probably more like, 11 days until it ends. So if you think you'll like it, I've put a link down in the description. go and get it. This video is not a sponsor in any way, shape or form. I just saw this deal and I thought it was a good deal, and I'm going to express what I think of it. So, thank you for watching. I hope this has informed your buying decision, and goodbye.